Hello, I'm Rainy Daze and this is Buddy Duck. Today we'll be drawing Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's, a movie that I personally am very excited to see. Before we begin, I should clarify that I believe there are no right or wrong ways to draw anything. This is just my way of drawing Freddy and I enjoy teaching others what I know. This video will be fast-paced, so if you see this pizza in the top left corner of the video, that shows when it's a good time to pause the video and catch up with my instructions. One last thing I must emphasize is that if you're drawing on a physical piece of paper or canvas, it helps to draw lightly so your lines are easier to erase. Now here's the most important part. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can't always get everything right on your first try, and that's okay. Practice makes perfect, and with the right knowledge, you can create anything. Let's find ourselves a reference. This should do it. Today we'll be redrawing this render of Freddy by Sallier the Wolf 1 on DeviantArt. Let's get to drawing. We'll start with a circle. This will be the base used for the head. Now we'll draw a line down the middle. In our reference, Freddy's head is tilted a bit to the left, so this guideline shouldn't be completely straight. Next, we'll divide the head with two lines going across. We then add two circles that touch the top horizontal line and almost touch the two other lines, but not quite. Let's move on to the body. For this, we'll draw a pillow shape as a base. The shape should become wider as it goes down. We'll create a base for the hands. In our reference image, Freddy is waving to us, so to the far right, at the same level as the head, we'll add a square with a curved bump at the top. It kind of resembles a bread slice. We can then add three circles, one on the top right corner of the body to indicate where the shoulder will be, one on the hand to indicate the wrist, and one to show where the elbow will be. If you have a hard time spacing them out, it will probably help to draw lines in between the circles. We'll then repeat the process for the hand and arm on our left. This one will be closer to Freddy's waist. We'll draw the same shape facing in a different direction. Then we add three little circles to indicate where Freddy's joints will be located, just as before. This brings us to our final body part. As a base for Freddy's foot on our right, we'll draw a trapezoid, then repeat the process of marking the joints. We'll then copy this for the other leg. Now that we have a rough base set out, let's draw Freddy's head. Starting with the top hat, let's draw two short lines coming off the top of his head, then connect those with a line following the curve of the head. After that, we do the same, but with longer lines that go in opposite directions, leaning away from each other. I myself have found the shape of Freddy's ears to be tricky, but it's actually quite simple. We just need to draw a circle with a flat bottom. And on the inside, we draw an egg shape. To connect his ears to his head, we'll draw two rods. Then we repeat, drawing a circle with a flat bottom, an egg shape for the inside of his ears, then connect it with two rods. Now we do what is arguably the most exciting part, that being the face. Starting with Freddy's eyebrows, we'll draw two curved lines above his eyes. Two longer lines above those, then we connect them. Freddy's eyes are sunken in because his head is just a mask put over a metal endoskeleton. So let's add two smaller circles inside the ones we already drew. Next, we'll give Freddy some eyelids. Just draw two curved lines that go across the inner circle. Then we add another pair of smaller circles for Freddy's irises, and yet another pair inside of those for his pupils. Freddy's nose goes over his eyes, and the shape of it is hard to describe. It's like if you took the shape of a diamond and made it really smooth. Now we draw a line going across the bottom of the circle. Then draw a curve going from the end of that line to Freddy's nose. Do the same thing on the other side, and we have Freddy's snout. On each side of his snout, Freddy has three dots. I don't know if these are meant to represent whiskers, or if they're freckles, or something else entirely. Can someone actually explain this design detail to me? Next, we'll draw Freddy's cheeks. They're the ones on his face. Get your mind out of the gutter. Similar to how we drew his snout, we'll be drawing a big curved line going from his eyes all the way down to the bottom of his snout. For Freddy's jaw, we'll be drawing one big loop that ends on each side of his snout. Then we draw a smaller one on the inside. Notice how the bottom of Freddy's jaw looks thicker than the sides of it. Then we add four teeth sticking out of the front of the jaw. Take note of how Freddy has a gap between his two front teeth. After that, we add two more teeth behind those. They should look taller and skinnier because they're at a different angle. Finally, to finish off the jaw, add two more teeth behind those ones that we just drew. Freddy has the mouth of his endoskeleton sticking out a bit from his mask, so to show that, we'll start with a rectangle hanging out of the top of his mouth. Then split that rectangle in two, and finally divide the top part with three evenly spaced lines. Let's now extend Freddy's cheeks slightly to show that the mask wraps around the jaw rather than them being two completely separate pieces. To finish off the cheeks, let's add a curved line giving a smooth transition between Freddy's cheeks and head. Moving on to Freddy's body, let's draw a curved line where his hips would be. Now let's take these points we just created and pinch them in, making it more clear that Freddy's torso is separate. Next, we'll draw a large hole in the bottom segment of Freddy's body. Then add 2 lines on the inside to show a bit of Freddy's endoskeleton. Now we're going to take these 2 corners and remove them, having the lines curve inward to show where Freddy's legs will go. Moving back up to Freddy's torso, let's add a square with rounded out edges for the center of the bow tie. Once again, it can kind of be seen as a pillow shape. Now let's add 4 lines that curve away from each corner of the square, then connect those with 2 more curved lines. Let's then add 2 loops coming out from the center of the bow tie for some added wrinkle detail. Next, we'll draw 2 curved lines going from the bow tie to the bottom of the top torso segment. They should be more curved than the sides of Freddy's torso, creating what almost looks like an oval. Now we can move on to Freddy's limbs. Starting with his feet, we'll add a toe in the middle, which is a round droopy shape that rounds out below the guideline that we drew earlier. Then add 2 more toes on each side. Finally, we round out the top of the foot, then add lines going across the bottom of each toe. We then repeat this process for the next foot. Middle toe, 2 more toes, round out the top, lines across the bottom. Going up to Freddy's legs, we can start with his kneecaps, which are basically just ovals that can go around the circle guidelines we added earlier. Next are Freddy's other 2 leg segments, which can also be broken down into 2 ovals that go behind the kneecaps. We repeat this for the other leg. Moving on to the final part with Freddy's arms and hands, let's draw Freddy's fingers, which are honestly just shaped like sausages. Starting with the thumb, we're going to draw a loop that goes around the box guideline and then curves back in. And afterwards, we can erase the overlapping guideline. Moving forward, we draw the same shape 3 more times right on top of that guideline, one on top of the other. To finish off the shape of the hand, we're going to round out Freddy's palm a bit, then extend the shape at the bottom to form his wrist. Freddy has a sort of in-between of a paw and a human hand, so let's add 2 circles on each finger for his paw pads, and then a rounded out square on his palm to complete his hand. From here, we add Freddy's first arm segment connecting his wrist to his elbow. Then we draw a hole in the top with a part of Freddy's endoskeleton sticking through. Now just copy what we did with that arm segment, but tilt it on its side, drawing another metal rod connecting to the shoulder. Speaking of which, for Freddy's shoulder plate, we'll start with a curved V shape on top of the shoulder, then loop it around here. To finish it off, we'll add a curved line connecting both sides and creating a solid shape. While we're on this area of the body, there's a couple of things I forgot to add. Freddy's torso should extend a bit past the initial guideline we drew, and curve inwards where the arms are. Also, the jaw should have a line going down from the middle. Going back to the hands, Freddy's hand on our left is holding a microphone. To start off, we'll draw 2 lines coming out of Freddy's hand, going diagonally in opposite directions. Now we add a curved line at the bottom connecting them. Let's draw a circle to go on top of those 2 lines we drew. Then add 2 curved lines going across. We then add 2 little round bumps on each side to finish off the microphone. Now let's draw our hand to wrap around the microphone. Starting off with the thumb, we'll draw a curved line going from the top left of the guideline to the microphone. For the fingers, we'll do the same, but the curved line will intersect with the guideline. The finger on the bottom connects to a line that will curve all the way around the guideline. To finish the hand, we extend the shape again to form the wrist. We'll draw another oval behind the hand for the first arm segment, then another behind that one with a hole showing at the end. We'll add another rod connecting to the shoulder, and repeat the steps from earlier for the shoulder plate, adding a curved V shape, looping it around, then connecting the top. Finally, let's go over every body part and erase some lines. I'll highlight them in yellow for you. For Freddy's head, we'll erase these lines. For Freddy's torso and hand on our left, we'll erase these lines. For Freddy's legs, we'll erase these lines. Now it's time to color our drawing. We'll need black for his hat, eyebrows, eyelids, pupils, nose, bow tie, and microphone. We'll use dark brown for the inside of his ears, and the inside parts of the suit. We'll use silver for the endoskeleton and microphone. We'll need white for his eyes and teeth. His irises are a vibrant light blue color. We'll use light brown for his muzzle, paw pads, and belly. And last but not least, let's color that bear brown. Don't forget to sign your work. There you have it, we just drew Freddy Fazbear. I hope this tutorial helped you, and I would love to see some of your drawings of Freddy based on what you learned. You can send me your drawings through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Twitter, or even Threads. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.